Hey pillars, welcome back to a brand new video. We're doing another bike comparison that was requested by Richie, and it goes, hi, would you compare an Orbea ORCA AERO and Merida Reacto AERO at Ultegra level? Enjoying the videos. Well, very much appreciated, Richie, and I do like it when you guys leave the comments, and actually when you request a bike comparison, you tell me what model in terms of group sets that you would like compared. It makes it a lot easier. Some people like 105, some people like Ultegra. You guys know that I rate 105 just as much as Ultegra, so in this situation, we're still going to go with Ultegra. And I really do like these companies since I'm learning about a variety of different companies right now. So Orbea is a new company I'm really learning about, and I'm diving deeper into Merida as well. Right now, we're going to jump right into it. We're on the Orbea United States website, so these prices are in USD. However, when I was trying to look for Merida, I guess it's not in North America, so I had to go on a United Kingdom website and actually do a price conversion, but I like to stay in USD since majority of my viewers are from the United States. Now, with that being said, we are looking at the ORCA AERO M20TEAM edition. Then again, if you know me or the channel, I'm not a big fan of aero bikes. I personally like an all-around race bike that can descend, that can climb, that can do everything. I'm not too much of a fan with these bigger down tubes and bigger tubes in general in terms of airflow around the bike. I really could care less for it. I just like an all-around bike. But with that being said, we are going to compare these bikes. So from what I can tell, carbon fiber frame and fork, obviously I'm going to have to look at the specs. Don't know about the seat post, but I would assume most likely. And then in terms of the handlebar and stem, I'm assuming aluminum. The wheel set that comes stock on this bike is aluminum, and it's the Vision Team 35 disc wheel set. And an 11-speed mechanical hydraulic Ultegra group set. And they don't cheap out on the rotor, so that's great to see. Quickly look at the specs, but also this bike comes in 3 different colors. Now, Orbea does allow you to customize your bike if you do decide, but in this model, you cannot. And I almost forgot to say the price. It's retailing for $37.99, so $3,800 USD. Pretty expensive, but a pretty good value in terms of what you're getting. This kind of reminds me of the value that I just looked at before, which is the Amonda SL6 Pro in terms of price point. The only thing I don't like about this bike, just even looking at it right now, is the cable management. I just don't like when cables go through the down tube. It just makes the bike look atrocious. But we're going to look at the specs right now. So the frame is carbon fiber. The fork is carbon fiber. Now, the reason I've already said this in other videos, I don't like to go into the nitty gritty comparing the carbon fiber layouts because the biggest thing is componentry, price, and road feel, and that's very subjective. And on top of that, making yourself the fittest, strongest cyclist is the most important thing out of everything. So for that reason, I just like to use these comparisons in terms of value, what you get on the bike. Crankset is a Shimano Ultegra R8000. I like how they actually put which model is it, so it's R8000. So if you're trying to learn the lingo, you know it's the newest Ultegra. Now it's a 5034 compact crankset, which is interesting, but I rate compact cranksets because it actually helps you to spin. So unless you're really racing, you most likely don't need a semi-compact or even a standard. I actually rode one of my first bikes with a standard crankset, which was crazy. Just, you know, I had to work my legs harder. Handlebar and stem seems to be aluminum. I'm not too sure. Shifters, brakes, all Shimano Ultegra, and then the cassette, they cheap out. They use a Shimano 105 cassette, which isn't bad. It's an 1128. I would have liked to see an 1130, but that is 11 speed. Rear derailleur, front derailleur, both Ultegra. The wheels are Vision Team 35mm depth disc rims. Seat post, don't know if it's carbon, so I would have liked Orbea to actually just put that there so you guys could see whether or not it's carbon or aluminum, but I'm going to assume that it's carbon. Now, I just tried to look it up if the seat post was carbon or aluminum. I couldn't even find it, so that's disappointment. But in terms of $3,800, you're basically getting a carbon fiber frame, fork, seat post, aluminum, I would assume handlebar and stem, stock 35mm depth aluminum rims, full 11-speed hydraulic mechanical Ultegra group set, which is great for $3,800 USD. I think that's a pretty good value, especially when you take in consideration this is an aero bike, which means bike companies usually charge more because of those aerodynamic flares and tubing and whatnot and more material. I keep doing this because I'm not a fan of aero bikes, but for $3,800, you're basically getting an aero bike at a pretty good price because usually these bikes are more expensive than the all-around race bike counterparts that bike companies offer. So that basically is the ORCA AERO M20 Team Edition. Color-wise, I don't like the white too much. The blue, not a big fan. I think the black is nice. Just don't like the cable integration. But with that being said, we're going to be taking a look at the Merida brand. Now, like I said, I couldn't find this in the United States, so I don't think they even sell it in the United States. Looking at the lineup, I'd assume for Ultegra, we're looking at the Reacto 6000, so that's why I pulled this bike. It comes in 2 different colors. It comes in this blue color, which I don't like, the red and the blue. yikes, don't like it. And then it also comes in this nice black, which I think every bike company should have at least one variation. Now, this is the first time I'm on a Merida website, so bear with me. I like how when you click frame, it actually shows you the material. So it says carbon, max tire clearance 700 by 30, which is great. Obviously, it's a disc brake bike. And then in terms of the fork, it says carbons. I like that. They put the material. It's very important. Shimano Ultegra hydraulic disc, full 11-speed hydraulic mechanical Ultegra, which is to be expected, obviously, since this is a 1-to-1 ratio comparison. Now, in terms of everything else, the whole group set, let's see if they put the material. So not everything has the material. So handlebars, aluminum, like I said. Usually for these builds, you know, you're gonna have an aluminum stem and handlebar. Now, in terms of the seat post, this is carbon. So the fact that this bike has a carbon fiber seat post, I'm just gonna assume based on all the builds I've looked at and all the bikes, the ORCA AERO M20 has a carbon fiber seat post. In terms of the crankset, you have a 52-36 semi-compact. So Orbea had a compact, which I think is better for new cyclists, or just even if you're not even racing tier 1, you know, you're totally, or not riding super fast group rides or going really hard by yourself in terms of training, then a compact is more than enough. But semi-compact is to be expected on these bikes. And then in terms of the rear cassette, you have an 11-30 tooth cassette at the rear, which I think is great. Now, both wheel sets actually come tubeless ready. Now, I'm pretty sure on the Reacto, it doesn't, because it says tubeless ready, but tubeless tape and valves not included. Whereas on the ORCA or Orbea, you actually have it. I'm pretty sure it's tubeless, set up tubeless already. So with that being said, the fact that you can still run tubeless on both is an added bonus. But now in between rim companies, you have the Fulcrum Racing rims, and on the Orbea, you actually have the Vision. I've had experience on both rims, but like I said, it's very subjective when it comes to ride quality and weight. They don't have the weight of the wheels, so you know, you really have to test ride to actually give a true feeling of both wheel systems. So for that reason, I'm not going to give my opinion which wheel set is better. And other than that, the weight is 8.46 kilograms. So we have an 8.4 kilogram disc brake Merida bike that actually is 18.74 pounds. That is heavy. And then in terms of the ORCA AERO M20, when you go to see the weight, I don't like how they don't actually put it, and they say something that I find very funny. You'll see that we don't list the bike weight. In reality, we want you to go to your local Orbea dealer to feel the bike for yourself. Weigh it against a similar bike at the shop, throw a leg over it, and take it out for a spin. There are so many deciding factors to consider when buying a new bike: style, finish, material, ride quality, build, color, cost, which is everything we talk about on this channel. And the weight is only one of them. And while light is nice, it's not wise to decide solely on grams or pounds. Let the ride decide. So I kind of do agree with what Orbea is actually saying. But then again, you know, we want to know the weights, because I don't want to go into my local Orbea dealer and find out this bike weighs 10 kilograms, right? So I just think that's kind of silly. They should just put the weight of the bike. So I do appreciate Merida actually doing that. And when we looked at other bikes, usually for a disc brake bike around this price range in terms of group set, you are expecting to have around, you know, 7.7 kilograms, give or take 17 pounds is normal. And now the price, you guys want to know the price of this Merida Reacto 600. Now the price I could find is on the sketchy UK website, which says the price for this bike, it looks to be the exact same model, Merida Reacto disc 6000 2021, retailing for 2,800 pounds. And now we plug that number into Google to get the conversion, and it's $3,739. So give or take $3,740 USD. Now the price of the Orbea ORCA AERO M20TEAM is $3,799. So there is a price difference of $60 USD, which isn't quite that substantial. So with that being said, the only thing that gets tricky with these comparisons also, guys, is sometimes I don't know if, for example, is Merida even available, you know, in certain parts of the world where the Orbea would, and is the Orbea available in the United Kingdom without having maybe taxes or import fees associated to importing the bike when you buy it? So I just want you to know I'm trying to do my best with your recommendations that you guys want to see done. These are requests. These aren't videos that I purposely put out and compare, knowing that I know you can get both bikes in the same place. So bear with me. I'm trying to do my best with these requests that you guys are giving me. Now, if I really had to choose a bike, is it the Merida Reacto 6000, or is it going to be the ORCA AERO M20TEAM edition? In terms of cable integration, I would have to give it to the Reacto. It looks a lot cleaner at the head tube area when compared to the ORCA AERO. But with that being said, the only thing that makes it hard to decide is because Orbea actually doesn't list the weight of this bike. For all I know, this bike could be 8 kilograms, which is still crazy heavy, but since they are both aero bikes, it's to be assumed that they're going to be slightly more heavier. Obviously, there's more tubing on the bike. So for this situation, I'm going to have to say you have to test ride both bikes. You have to actually weigh both bikes. Well, we already know the weight of the Reacto 6000, so you'd have to weigh the ORCA AERO to actually have a fair comparison when compared to the Reacto in terms of weight. And then obviously road quality and road feel of the wheels. But other than that, for piece, there's only 60 USD difference, so it's not that substantial. So either one, it really comes down to ride both ones. I would hope potentially if the Merida Reacto 6000 rides just as good as the ORCA AERO and the wheels are nice and the ORCA AERO M20TEAM is not that much heavier or is not that much lighter, actually, since we don't even know the weight, is not that much lighter. If it's basically the same weight, I would have to go with the Merida because it is cleaner. So for that situation, basically test ride both. If it's roughly the same weight on both bikes when you weigh them, ride them if they feel very similar. And the price difference, if this one's $60 cheaper in terms of the Merida, then I would go for the Merida because it's cleaner integration. And that about wraps it up. So if you guys do appreciate me making these comparisons, leave a request. All I ask is try to do your best with 2021 bikes. Try to do your best to make sure that these are bikes that are available to get wherever you are, like both bikes. And then just put on what level. Is it 105 or Ultegra, or is it a super bike? And then I'm more than welcome to add it onto the list of comparisons. I love making these videos for you guys. You obviously really appreciate it. I love doing it. So please leave a like to show your support, subscribe to the channel, and until the next one, keep on pedaling.